Hey everyone, and welcome. Most of us spend our whole lives basically chasing happiness and running away from pain, right? It seems like the most natural thing in the world. But what if that entire approach is just fundamentally flawed? So that leads us to the big, radical question we're tackling in this explainer. What if sorrow is actually superior to happiness? Yeah, I know, it sounds completely backwards, totally counterintuitive, but just stick with me on this because we're about to explore a perspective that really turns that whole common assumption on its head. All right, let's dive right in. The whole goal here is to completely reframe how we look at sorrow. We're not going to treat it like some kind of sickness that needs to be cured. Instead, we're going to look at it as a really potent, powerful energy, one that can be harnessed for something truly incredible. So the big question is, how could pain possibly be more powerful than joy? It just doesn't seem to make sense. Well, the source material we're digging into today actually lays out three key reasons for sorrow's surprising superiority. So let's break them down one by one. Okay, so first up is focus. Think about it. When you're happy, your senses are kind of all over the place, right? They're excited, scattered, reaching outward for the next fun thing. But sorrow? Oh, sorrow is completely different. The source actually calls this the Fevicol effect, like a super strong glue. Your mind literally just jumps and sticks to your grief. It becomes completely absorbed, totally one-pointed, and the wild part is, it takes zero effort. It's like this natural built-in laser-like concentration. Next up, let's talk about the physical impact, how it actually feels in your body. Happiness, when you really think about it, is a pretty mild experience. It's nice, but it's gentle. Sorrow, on the other hand, delivers this powerful jolt right to your system. It's a shock so strong it can actually force your whole body into a state of stillness. And get this, it can even lower the stress on your heart. And the third and final point is all about substance. The argument goes like this: pain is the reality. And happiness? Well, happiness is more like a fleeting shadow. You know how you can never actually catch your own shadow? That's what trying to hold on to happiness is like. It's just elusive. But sorrow? Man, sorrow feels intensely real. It's tangible. It's solid. It acts as a way stronger anchor for your mind. Okay, so let's put this all together. If sorrow has all this raw power, this incredible focus, this physical jolt, this solid substance, then the million-dollar question is, what are we supposed to do with it? Well, the answer isn't to push it down or try to escape it. Nope. The answer, the real key, lies in the art of redirection. And this brings us to a really important concept, a term called bhavana. Now, this isn't about trying to cook up some new feeling out of thin air. That's not it at all. Bhavana refers to a deep, intense emotion that is already fully formed inside you. We're talking about that profound grief, that intense fear, or even that deep, all-consuming love. The energy is already there, just waiting. So how do you actually redirect this stuff? Well, the source lays out a pretty clear three-step process. First, you have to identify that powerful emotion that's already inside you. Second, and listen up because this part is absolutely crucial, you have to define a personal, specific bond with what the source calls the divine. And we're not talking about some vague, abstract idea of the universe. No, this has to be a defined relationship. Maybe you see it as a mother, a friend, a guide, whatever works for you. And then finally, you consciously take the full force of your emotion and channel it, like a fire hose, right towards that one single connection. Now, when you do this, this redirection builds towards a really striking concept, something the source calls God mania. I know, it's a powerful term. And it's basically the ultimate application of this whole technique. You're taking a worldly obsession or a deep pain, and you are deliberately turning it into a powerful, positive spiritual force. The logic behind this is actually pretty simple. The human mind is just naturally prone to intensity and attachment. We've all been obsessed with something or someone at some point, right? So if that's the case, the question becomes, why not consciously choose what you're obsessed with? Why not take that energy, which could turn into a destructive neurosis, and transform it into a positive, liberating one instead? But, and this is a big but, there's a catch, the ability to pull this off, to perform this kind of emotional alchemy, to actually redirect that intense energy, well, it depends entirely on developing what the source calls a strong mind. So, okay, what's the difference? What separates a weak mind from a strong one? Well, a weak mind is compared to a stray animal. Think about it. That animal might know it shouldn't go for the trap, but it just can't help itself. It lacks the willpower and ends up chasing every distraction until it's caught. A strong mind, on the other hand, is like a perfectly calibrated compass. It has the power to consciously choose its direction, to choose its focus, and to redirect its own intensity wherever it wants it to go.
Here's another really powerful metaphor to help this click. Imagine you pour a bucket of water onto the ground. What happens? It just spreads out everywhere into a messy, shallow puddle, right? But if you take that same water and pour it into a pot, it becomes still and it becomes deep. That pot, that's your focused mind. By containing your wild emotions, by focusing them on one single point, you transform all that chaotic energy into a deep, powerful reservoir of spiritual energy.
So let's wrap this all up. The big takeaway here is that your emotions, especially the really painful ones, are not a weakness you need to get rid of. Not at all. They are an incredible source of immense, raw energy. And that really leaves us with one final, very empowering question to think about for yourself. Your emotions are powerful. So where are you choosing to focus them?